So my name's Rob, and I'm the bassist in ANWE, and I also produce, record, mix, do all the crazy stuff to make sound happen for the band.
Rob, I got to say, I guess it's kind of fun now because I know you so well, whereas I've been interviewing bands and I don't know people as well as I know you guys, people in our own band. So I was thinking about questions that I really want to know.
Okay.
Don't get too worried.
It's going to get awkward.
Well, I've never asked you some of these things.
Okay.
And the first one
nervous.
was...
Why am I nervous?
Don't be nervous. You know me too well. The first one is, and it's amazing I never asked you this. What got you picking up the bass? Because you play guitar better than I do. And what made you think I'll play bass in the band?
I first picked up the bass when I was 17, and I was at school, and I think I just wanted to. I was trying to get bands, always trying to get a band going, and finding a bassist was always like the hardest thing. There's plenty of people who can pick up a bass and hit some strings, but generally, a lot of people who pick up the bass, it's because they can't really play and they can't really play guitar. So I kind of got fed up with that, and
Right.
I just thought, if you want to do the job, you need to do it yourself. It's best if you do it yourself. So I just kind of thought, at least if I play the bass, we've got a decent bassist. I don't claim to be the greatest bassist in the world, but I just knew that I could do a good job. So that's kind of what first got me to pick up a bass. And then I played bass in a couple of bands before I joined ANWE. But then I joined ANWE via an advert on Gumtree, I think it was.
Yeah.
And even then, as a bassist, you can kind of take your pick of bands, because every band needs a bassist.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find, whereas there's a million guitarists out there trying to, get in a band. So that's kind of my journey on the bass. But then I equally enjoy playing regular guitar as well.
So is there a bassist that you'd say really influenced you, that aside from the story of that you just told me about filling a void in these bands?
Yeah.
When you kind of did decide, was there a bassist that you thought inspires you a lot? Or for me, I'd be Flea, but at the same time, I love the simplicity of the Bouncing Souls bassist,
Right.
Brian. So are there bassists that you, when you play now or even?
The only one that really springs to mind would be Alex James from Blur.
Good choice.
Because I just think he's a brilliant bassist. I don't know if I would say underrated, because I think he's. I don't know.
He's
I think
definitely rated.
He is rated,
yeah.
But I think he really makes their sound what it is. And I was Blur was my first love, really, in terms of bands that I got into growing up. And again, I wouldn't put myself in his league, but I really like the kind of movement that he puts into a song. He doesn't just always stick with what's obvious.
Yeah.
He'll always try and do something interesting. And I think that's what I always kind of aspire to do, is just do something interesting. So I guess he's probably my biggest influence.
Similar question, because I would say you're as much a bassist in this band as you are our producer. And similar question, what got you down that road? And in terms of inspirational producers, who would you mention as influences?
What got me into recording? I started out on a 4-track cassette recorder, purely because I was writing songs at that time, and I wanted a way to kind of put it down. you know, it seems ridiculous now just having 4 tracks on a tape, but that was, you know, that was how I started, and then I kind of got bitten by the bug, really, and it's always like you're chasing the next hit in terms of improving the quality of what you're doing, and it ended up with, you know, leading me into, I did a degree in music and technology where I did recording and all that kind of stuff, and then just really lucky, I guess, to, you know, with the way that technology is now advanced, and you can make a record in your bedroom. Or
so was that also filling a void for bands that you're in?
I don't know. I just love making music, and like for me, like for you, the art is in writing the song, and for me now, the art that I love is kind of painting with sound, and like just making it sound as great as I can, whether that's recording with an ANWE even, or you know, the most basic acoustic guitar and voice. I just want to make it sound great, and that's the high for me, is working on something and polishing it until you get this incredible thing which you can keep forever, you know.
So we're here sat inside your own studio at last. I've known you for, what, God, how many years have we been together now?
It's, well, 10 years now.
10 years,
nearly,
right? Yeah. So, you know, and I know that we've always had your laptop going from room to room and stuff, but now we're sat here in and now even headquarters, your studio. You just mentioned polishing. How does this feel now that doing this album, our new album, Honesty and Modern Luxury, how does it feel that we're finally sat here doing that in your studio? It's
a dream, really, and it's now.
What are the pros?
Reality,
what are the real benefits of this?
It makes it possible. I mean, you know, I've got.
Well, we've always been able to record.
We've always been able to record.
It's always been possible, but what is the advantage?
Just to be able to walk into a room and everything's ready. Like, when you have to set everything up every time, you waste an hour setting up, and then you've got to tidy it all away, and you're working where you're living. Whereas now we have this creative space, and it's like that's all it's for, and it's just really cool. You come in here and you know it's time to work, and yeah.
This is our 6th album. Now, how would you say this album differs from the other albums that we've done, or sound? Does it differ? Maybe
it does.
Differ. Well, what would people be excited about over this album?
Just, I think every time we've made an album, we've kind of stepped it up a bit, and I feel like we've matured a lot over the last. Well, I mean, you'd already made 2 albums before I joined, but over the albums where I've been working with the band, I feel like each one has been a step forward, and I think this is a continuation of that. It's a more expansive sound. It's kind of I always love the songs we do that are quite epic and big, and everything's kind of, you know, like you can feel the emotion of the song, and I think every song on this album does that to some extent, and it's I think people are going to love it.
After this album, or during the release of this album, what do you think's the next step for, and now even the next thing for us to do?
After the album?
Yeah, or what's the next step in your mind?
Make another album.
Make another album.
That's what we do.
I think that's probably. I asked this question to all the bands, but you know, it's actually the first time I'm asking a question that in your interview that I've also asked the other bands.
Yeah.
And thinking
I know what will
it,
happen. We will release the album.
Yeah.
The next day, you'll be like, guys, I've got some new songs.
Dude, to be honest, I think that's already in the... Anyway. I think we've already started. doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we've already got some ideas.
I know Johnny's got a cool song now, Postcards, which is
Oh yeah.
anyway album 7, man. It's gonna be album. Anyway, let's focus on album 6. Speaking of Johnny, just gonna chuck this in. What's the easiest way to throw Johnny off a guitar solo at a gig? I'll do it at the next show. Or maybe not the next show. The
To
one.
throw him off.
Yeah, he gets really focused into his guitar solos. What should I do to like? I don't know.
Unplug his guitar.
But that's cheating. that's like equivalent of punching him in the face.
Right.
I got to throw him off a solo without being, without.
Can you do that? I mean,
Is it possible?
when he's playing?
yeah,
he's
really
like he's in that
focused, right?
zone.
Yeah.
It's like
Maybe it's not
you
possible.
can't. He's like in a trance almost. How do you snap him out of that?
Yeah. What's the last album you heard, and what did you honestly think of it?
The last album I heard.
Yeah.
Do you know? I can't actually remember the last time I just listened to an album.
Right.
I mean,
Was it the Blur album? You listened to that?
I actually don't know. That's a really bad answer, but
no,
like,
it's not a bad answer. I think it's the way we consume
yeah,
music
it's
now.
sad actually because like I really miss
Yeah.
the album, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that doesn't really happen. I actually, I can't remember the last time I really heard an album and thought that's a great album from start to finish. I enjoyed the last the Wolf Alice album. That's one of the most recent albums that I've thought that's a really good album, but it's rare these days. Maybe I'm just getting old.
What are your top 3 albums for best production? Something that you maybe constantly
that I
refer
wish-
to as reference for a good sound, or maybe even if it's just a particular, or as a bassist, reference. What are 3 references for you as a bassist that you?
It's so hard to answer that question because when I'm making music, when I'm sort of producing, I'm listening. I listen to so many different albums, and I take elements of that, and I kind of.
What other
think
albums that you
from a production
frequently
point of
go
view.
to, or are there producers who have done numerous albums that you do you go by producer like? I don't know, I would say anything Julian Casablancas does,
Right.
I would just love.
Right.
So I'd probably go to all of his stuff just because, I love the sound. But
Okay. Okay. So there's a few. There would be like Andy Wallace, and he mixed Nevermind. But and his production and his mixing has been like over the last 20 years, like you could practically, if you looked at like a top 20 list of the best albums the last 20 years, he would probably have at least 5 of them. Like he's so versatile, he's gone from like he did Aerosmith and Run DMC right through to Nirvana, Nevermind, through to Jeff Buckley, through to Biffy Clyro. Like he has mixed all that stuff, and you wouldn't think it was the same guy behind it.
That's
But
quite cool.
so I guess from that point of view, he would be someone to aspire to. And then there's like you've got guys like Chris Lord Alge, who what is it, Algae or Algae? I'm not sure, but he did all like the Green Day stuff and the kind of American punk, but radio punk basically.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, like he's very renowned for like punchy, hard-hitting mixes. So that's 2. I can't think of a third one off the top of my head.
That's all right. Do you have any standout gigs that you've been to that you thought was that was the best gig I've ever been to? Where was it and who was it?
I remember I saw the Vandals at the Astoria about.
Oh man,
Must have been
2000?
around there.
Yeah,
late
dude, I
90s.
went to that.
And
They
there's
were
one
naked, right?
maybe,
Or
but I
was it
remember
the
there's one
guitarist?
bit where the bassist jumped off like the PA stack, and he just with his bass. He didn't just like, he was holding his bass and he jumped like, it must have been at least 1 or 2 stories, and I thought he was going to die, and he just like rolled over and carried on. I was just like, what just happened?
Awesome. Yeah,
that was an amazing gig, and I remember my ears were ringing for about 3 days afterwards, because I hadn't heard of earplugs in those days. I was young and stupid.
What was the first album you ever bought? If it's embarrassing, sorry.
It's not. It was Park Life.
Oh, that's cool.
That was my first album.
That's really cool.
If you're asking for singles, then it gets embarrassing.
Go on then.
I think.
Go on.
But no, you didn't ask that. So
all right.
it's cool,
Next question. What was the first single you bought?
I think it might have been Bon Jovi, Always.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, something like that, like
Yeah.
early 90s, sort of. Yeah.
What's your favorite Now or Even song to play live?
I like A Song for Me. It's just very upbeat and fun. There's so many. It's really hard to actually say one song that I like. To play
At the
live,
moment, what are you currently
I
enjoying?
like that. I like Mama. That's quite fun from a bass point of view. It's quite sort of busy.
Yeah.
That's quite fun.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, I guess.
This next question. I'm just sitting here looking at it, and I've asked. This is one of the questions that I've asked all the bands, and I'm finding it hard to ask you this question because of how long I've known you and been in this band with you.
Okay.
What does being in an hour even mean to you?
What does being in an hour even mean to me? It's being in an hour even is like my musical life. I've basically got 2 lives. I've got my family life where I'm dad, and I've got 2 kids, wife,
By the way,
mortgage.
while you say you've got 2 kids, I have to throw this in there. You know what I'm going to say, and you know what I love.
What's that?
You've got a kid named Alex Kidd, like based on the Sega Master System. I just have to put that out there.
Okay.
Alex Kidd.
Yeah.
I just think that's really cool.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry, Thomas.
So I'm always juggling like being the dad with being the bassist in an hour even, and being in the band gives me the chance to live that life as well, and it's just awesome to be able to make music and be a family man as well, and it's like, it's awesome. It's just like, you guys are my friends and you're like my second family in a way. So,
yeah. I'd put you as my first family, but hey. Right. What is right and what is wrong with music today?
what is right and what is wrong with music today?
You can pick one thing. There are a lot of rights and a lot of wrongs, but first thing that comes to your mind.
What is right with music today? I think the opportunity is there now for anyone to basically make it. Like, you can be DIY and still, okay, maybe you're going to need some help to get into that sort of top level, but like, you can be in a band or you can be an artist, and with what you can do now on the internet, you can make it by yourself, and I think that's really cool. And I wish that that opportunity, or that it had been possible to do that, say 20 years ago, because I would always have been kind of making music and putting it out then. There's nothing worse than making music and no one hearing it, and nowadays it's possible to put something out there, and people who know you can hear it, but then it has the chance of reaching that wider audience. I think that's a really great thing.
Yeah.
What's bad about music today, I guess, that you still have things like X Factor. I can't believe that the X Factor's still going.
Yeah.
After 13 years or 14 years.
It's been going
how
on
is
as
it
long
still
as I've
going?
known you.
How is it still? I remember like the second year of X Factor thinking, Well, they're doing it again. Like,
Yeah.
they've done that now.
It's
and here we
bullying.
are, like 14 years later, or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you know, if people want to
What
go
is
in
wrong
for
with
that,
X Factor?
it's a factory. It's like, and it doesn't even. People go into it with dreams, you know,
Yeah.
and people with talent go into it,
Yeah.
and they end up. It crushes those dreams, and it's just so kind of, you know, it's just plastic, I guess. There's nothing wrong with people covering or singing other people's songs, but you're talking about trying to make a career out of it. Like, where is the integrity, you know?
We've been playing charity shows. I think it's been quite a. I mean, I'd say it's been a good excuse for a party, but also there's more to it. What does playing charity shows mean to you? And being a part of that?
I think it makes it meaningful. It makes what we're doing meaningful. You know, playing gigs is always fun and it's always a laugh, but to be able to do that and to help people at the same time, I think just it makes it more, I don't know, meaningful is the only word that I can think of. It's it's I don't know. That was a really shit answer. I think it's really great that we can do stuff with the band and also use that to help people.
Yeah.
I think that's really
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool. I'd probably echo that. And now even are playing Mario Kart. Where do you finish, and where does each band member finish?
Have we ever played Mario Kart together?
I don't think we have, strangely
I think
enough.
that's something we should do.
We should do, but
Let's
preempt.
I think you would probably win.
Do you hear that, Johnny?
Because
you hear that? Say it again. Say it again.
You would probably win, because I think you probably for one thing, you're the only person who has a Switch, I believe.
Oh, it could be any. I'll take you on any Mario Kart.
To be honest, I haven't played much Mario Kart since the SNES version, and I got pretty good at that.
Well, that's two-player.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah, it's two-player.
I think I might come. It's always a bit of a lottery.
First
isn't it?
four-player Mario Kart.
I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm all right. I think I might come second.
Okay.
Maybe.
So you're putting Johnny or Andy in third?
I don't know what Andy's skills are like, to be honest. I've not broached that subject with him.
So Andy in third and Johnny in fourth. Just do it.
Yeah, Andy in third. Johnny in fourth.
That is going to drive Johnny nuts because he thinks he's the best at driving games.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to him.
But he's more
this.
into like the realistic ones, isn't he?
That's true. Yeah.
Mario
simulators.
Kart, you can get the blue shell, and
Yeah.
you can completely mess everyone else up and win, can't you? It's like there's a bit of
Yeah.
luck involved. So I think I would stand a chance.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be. It's not my favourite, but I would eat it.
Right. There's something I've got for you, and it's. One second. So you're the first person to see this.
Okay.
And the reason I wanted to give it to you, this one, because it's number one,
Okay.
it's because you've done a lot to make this possible, man. So here it is, man. The first ever
Oh wow. That's
Pizza
a privilege.
Party CD.
That's a privilege.
That's on the side. It's number one. You can hold it up, man.
Hand numbered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, man.
Can I have a look inside?
Open it up, yeah.
Shall I show the camera, or is it secret?
Yeah, go for it. There you go, man. Pizza Party CD. So yeah, dude.
I don't know if I'm...
No, you
That's
did
awesome,
you did
man.
so much
That's
so
awesome.
much on this Keep It Real thing, man. It was all, we wouldn't have been able to do it without you and all the rush of everything and the time frame. So yeah man, just Yeah, I got your copy covered, man. That's £5 from me. Just so if anyone watching, that's all. It's all being accounted for, man.
I'll pay it straight into the Just Giving.
That's all going in there.
That's great.
But yeah, dude. Like,
I hope we sell lots of these.
yeah, that's pretty cool, man. It's a good cause. So,
Cool. Great.
yeah, man. Thanks, dude.
Cool. You're going to edit this,
Yeah.
right?